This is Dave T1963 with part 2 of my gear that I use. And in this part I'm going to talk about ground hunting. You know, over the years every year I keep doing a little bit more and more ground hunting just because it opens up areas that most people aren't hunting for bow. Gun hunters hunt them, you know, the CRP fields and the draws and the brushes, but you won't see a lot of tree stand hunters out there because there simply is no tree stands out there. So how I hunt those is I've got two main ways I do it. If I pre-scouted it and I know I'm going to an area where I've got a tree that I can use, my absolute favorite piece of gear is, I don't even remember what this is called. It's almost like a hammock seat that I DIY'd and put some sports netting in here, but there's a video in my YouTube videos that covers how I modified this and how I use this. But this is absolutely my favorite way when there's a tree I can use. Put you low to the ground. It's the most comfortable seat I've hunted in, period. Whether it's a saddle, tree stand, lazy boy, I don't care. This is the most comfortable piece of gear I've ever hunted with. Easy to set up, works on any tree that, you know, is at least 2 to 3 inches in diameter all the way up to a big tree. So I absolutely love this. I think it's called the hammock seat, but the original material, in my opinion, for how I hunt was a little noisy, so I did modify mine. You can check out that video if you want to see how I did it. The second piece of gear I use, I've done videos on this. I can't, for some reason, I'm having a hard time remembering all this gear. Waldrop's pack seat. I love this thing. This is the piece of gear I will use if I'm hunting in an area that has no trees. I can use this in a grass field. I can dig, actually I've dug depressions. I'll be over watching like a brushy draw or whatever, and I'll dig down a depression about 1.5 feet and about a 4-foot circle where I can set this down, and it really puts my profile down low to the ground, which deer aren't used to seeing. But two ways you can use this. You can lean it up against a tree if you find a tree, but if you can't find a tree, you kick that back and you can sit on this. I DIY'd a Alps outdoor pack on this to where I can carry my Gila suits. I always carry a saw and pruners and zip ties. I've got a video where I've got PVC tubes that I use to help build a real quick impromptu shelter. But man, for ground hunting, and you can use this, you can flip the straps around and use this to pack out your animal. So man, for tree, I would say probably when I'm freelancing and I know I'm going to an area I'm going to hunt from the ground, I use this probably 90% of the time. I'll take the other seat when I know that I've got a tree picked out where I want to hunt. But I mean, that piece of gear right there carries all your gear, and what I love about that is I can literally hunt anywhere. There's been times where I found a cattail pond with a good trail that was skirting around a beaver dam, and I actually set this up in the water, in the cattails, in the water, and it kept me, kept my butt up out of the water and hunting. The versatility with that system is amazing. I got my daughter using it now. That's what I usually put her in because she don't like heights. Grace, are you gonna photobomb my video? But that's my two ground system. Now, something else I want to talk in conjunction with that. The best, I see the rage of Gila suits right now, and I'm a military guy. I've wore Gila suits. I've made Gila suits. I appreciate Gila suits, and they work great. But if you move a lot in them, and if you have the thorns and briars and stuff like we have down here, they're worthless. Unless you pack them in and just wear them in your blind. I've been using and promoting these kill suits from allpredators.com. I think I was the first one in the hunting industry outside of predator hunters to really push this for saddle hunters and hunters on the hunter community. I've been pushing these for years. They're lightweight, they're cheap, they're effective as all get out. You can go watch the videos on the All Predator kill suits. But I've got a brown sapper and I've got a green sapper, and I will keep both of these. I mean, these pack down a lot less than a Gila suit and go right in that pack. So depending on where I wind up setting up, if it's more brown toned, I'll wear the desert camo. If I am more of a woodland, I'll wear the woodland. Now, one thing I did with my desert camo is I took some dark brown spray paint and I kind of darkened the tones a little bit, put shadows in there, and put a few extra stripes in mine. So love the kill suits. I do trim off the stuff on my left arm and my chest just for my traditional shooting. Another thing that I've made, and some guy named Kurt actually had a YouTube video that I kind of copied. I made mine a little bit different. He used a wraparound connector. This is called a bow blind, and it sticks right up into my quiver. If I was to use this, I would take this arrow off. It's got a broadhead on it, so you gotta be careful. And I would slide this right up into my quiver, and then it snaps into the quiver as well. Now what I do with this is, as you can see, when I'm hunting, I pull that out. I can fold it flat as I'm walking, put it in my pack if I want to, but I fold it out while I'm hunting. And what that does, watch this, I'm drawing. You can't see my arm behind this. You cannot see my arm as I draw behind this. It hides that arm movement. So as long as you keep your arm steady as you're drawing your bow, the only movement they're going to see is maybe your limbs a little bit. They're not going to see that big draw. This has helped me draw back on big bucks and does any animal more than any other thing I've ever done in ground hunting. Okay, so I highly encourage you to make one. Maybe I'll make a separate video one day on how I made this. It's real simple to make. Lightweight as all get out. It's nothing more than mesh netting and some Gila material on it. Okay? Since we're talking leafy suits or Gila suits, two more that I use when I'm tree stand hunting that I really like, because it's hot down here and a lot of times I'll go in with shorts and a t-shirt and then I just throw my leafy suit on top of it. Probably my favorite now is the new First Light Cypher pattern leafy suit. This thing is phenomenal. In the areas I hunt, whether you're on the ground or up in a tree, this camo pattern is just absolutely phenomenal. I am so glad they came out with a leafy top. I hope they follow up with the leafy pants, or at least make a sapper type model for this. But I've got it, and I've got the head cover to go with it. Absolutely what I'll be wearing all through early season in the tree stands when I wear a leafy suit. The other suit that I really like that I've used for years is the old ASSAT professional leafy suit. Once again, it does a really phenomenal job of breaking up your human outline. Truthfully, I'll probably lean towards the Cypher more, so this is probably going to be phased out as time goes on. The only other camouflage that I really plan on wearing but in the early season is, at times if I'm in a really green environment, I will wear the Predator spring green. Okay. Outside of that, as far as camo, I've got a bunch of merino wool. I use a lot of First Light stuff. I really like it, from their base layers to their puffy jackets to their outerwear. So I wear a lot of that. I've got some in the old Fusion pattern, I think it's called, but the Cypher pattern to me, especially colder weather, it's just a better pattern. It's what I'm going to switch, in time, because clothing, as everyone's aware, is kind of expensive. In time, I will be switching all my outer wool layers to the Cypher pattern. Okay, I think I'll let me hit the boots real quick. For early season down in the south, I mainly wear two boots. One is the lacrosse snake boot, which is actually right here. And then these are called Dan's chaps that are also snake proof. So I will wear these anytime I'm around water here, because water moccasins are our most common snakes, and I probably see on average one every 3 hunts that I'm in, because I hunt a lot of swampy area and rivers and creeks and stuff like that. So 90% of the time you're going to see me wearing these. The other time I will wear the lacrosse arrowhead boot during the early season, And then I just recently picked these up based off of John Everhart pushing these. They're called gum leaf boots. They're a much higher rubber content, so they're supposed to last a lot longer. We will see. I won't be wearing these this year because these things stink. They have a very, very, very strong rubber odor that's going to take a long time. I bought these 2 months ago and they've been sitting outside and they're as strong as the day I bought them. So it's probably going to be a year before I can actually even wear these, but I'm looking forward to trying the higher rubber content boots. So outside of that, I do have some neoprene waders. I have some lightweight breathable waders, and I have some camouflage tennis shoes. Now what I wear the camouflage tennis shoes for is if I'm going to hunt and wear these in or wear any of the waders in, I'll put those tennis shoes in my backpack so that as I get near my tree, within 100 yards of my tree, I'll take these off. I'll put my tennis shoes on so I can sneak in. I don't like wearing the noisier stuff. Now if it's cold outside and I'm wearing neoprene chest waders, which I do a lot in November, I'll just wear them up into the stand. So that's a little bit on the clothing and stuff that I use and the ground equipment. Let me cut this off and I'll get into some of the other specific gear that I use while I'm hunting. Dave T1963 out.